Welcome back. This is Advent Nebula.
This is Cruellica Kain.
And we are back with a new episode of Pop Culture Therapy. This time we're tackling the 5 worst Toku series of the previous decade. And we have kidnapped Kaiju no Kami for this.
Hi, Kaiju!
They have me tied up in a corner. Quick, call the police.
You know, by the time they see this, it'll be too late.
And you'll be more than likely binging out on something on the TV by the time this is out.
Time travel, bitches.
So thank you for joining us again. As Advent has just said, this is our top 5 worst tokusatsu series of the last decade. Doesn't mean they're great. Actually, it does mean they're not great.
And some of you are probably going to disagree with us on some of these. But just as a disclaimer, we're not going to be including shows that we didn't complete, like Tokuger.
And
Ghost.
And Drive.
Hey, I was the only one who finished Drive.
I got a lot.
And Geo.
Yeah, because apparently I got a lot of flack from these two gentlemen in regards to my adding 01 to the list, even though it's not completed. And I still believe, go to hell. One thing I want to add before we go into our worst is we sadly forgot to mention one series for our best. So I want to mention that real quick because everyone needs to see it and they need to make more of it. And that's Kyuranger.
Yeah, we completely spaced about that. And Kaiju ended up, after rendering it and putting it up, it's like, wait a minute, we forgot about Kyuranger.
So, if you've never seen Kyuranger, it's a great parody tokusatsu series about Sentai. Actually has old school Sentai characters and actors in it. Well worth the watch, well worth your time, and super, super, super funny.
Yeah, and I do love the fact that they even acknowledge the tropes and everything that all the adults that grew up watching it, or anybody who's been watching it or binge watching it for the last few years, can actually appreciate some of the running gags.
So with that said, let's get down. Really?
If I actually had chains on, you'd hear the chains trailing too.
Whatever you have to say, Marley. I should just get like a rope to tie around your mouth so it can keep it
But
shut.
yes, a Kyuranger rocks.
Yeah.
Why did we not put that in the last one?
Because we're terrible people and I thought it came out pre-2010.
I completely spaced when it came out.
It was the best Sentai series to come out in the last decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that said, because we're going to get very depressing, I figured we'd start on a high note and then go down from there.
Yeah. So just like last time, no particular order we're going in these, but a lot of us are going to have overlap with some of our picks.
Because we're not that creative people, apparently, and we all have a lot of things that we want to bitch about.
Yeah, we all pretty much hated a lot of the shows we're going to be talking about here.
So I'm going to go with number 5, which is one of the least popular decisions of my choices. And the reason I chose it is because the more I thought about the series afterwards, the more disappointed I got because I feel like it disconnected with me. And that's Dobutsu Sentai Zyuohger. Basically, it's Zyuohger. I'm terrible at this. It's like Minecraft and Animal Crossing, the video game, but I kind of feel like it missed me after a while because while it had a story for some of the characters, I do feel there were so many missed opportunities with the side characters, as well as the villain.
You mean like the grandpa? Was it his uncle or
his uncle that he lived with? That the Red Ranger and all the other Rangers lived with. He was this big animal enthusiast, and every time you see him, you're like, "There's going to be something more about him. There's going to be something more about him." He's going to be like either this old, like Yoda type character. He's going to be something. He's just there.
But he was the comic relief of the show, which I enjoyed.
And I did love his random costumes.
The only part he really had in the story was when it was discovered he had originally gone into Jewel World at one point. But other than that, yeah, it was pointless.
The villains were the weakest, and I know we can say that for the last 10 years. The villains are generally the weakest. And there's other tokusatsu series I know we're going to include on here that's going to have similar situation. However, for this one, they're all based on sports. And to me, that's like the easiest villain type group that you can turn into a cohesive story.
Yet that's
There is no
one of the reasons
effort.
I enjoyed the show,
Well,
even if the villains were kind of lackluster in development.
Now, the reason why, even though we don't have a particular order, this is kind of like my number 5, mainly due to the fact that I love the world. The world as the Ranger. I can't remember what his name was.
Zyuohger the world.
Zyuohger the world. Okay, that's what I thought. But I think maybe I love that because every time I heard it, I kept on thinking of JoJo's reference. And that's probably a poor reason to like something. But he was also so melodramatic. He's what saved the show for me. But the more I thought about it after, it's one of those Sentais that I can guarantee you, compared to others, and the reason I say others is because I know they're on both of your lists, I know I won't watch again.
Where this is one I will more than likely watch again a bit down the line because of all of the Sentai that have come out, pretty much for me, post Kyuranger, is the one that's had the best Red Ranger. And considering the Reds we've had since this one, which we'll get into.
Kaiju, come back.
Kyuranger had the best red?
One of the best Reds.
I love Daigo.
Daigo's one of my favorites.
What's wrong with you?
Daigo for life.
I'd say Zyuohger and Lupinranger had the best Red Rangers in the decade. All the others have sucked.
But we're going to move on because I don't want to listen to you complain about Red Rangers because we could have an entire podcast just about your soapbox of Red Rangers.
Let's not bring up Bond, even though I just did.
Thanks. Okay,
really?
stop.
You just purposely brought him up to say let's not bring him up. What
Okay.
the hell?
All right,
Don't get me started. Oh.
So, for my number 5 worst, and it's the only Kamen Rider I have in my 5 worst series, is Drive. Anytime a Kamen Rider show takes 33 episodes to get to its main plot, there's a problem. The villains, why at times were kind of interesting with Heart and Brain. When it came towards the climax, I had checked out. And I ended up going, okay, this could get better, this could get better. Nope. Just did not get better. The only character I actually related to through the show going through its entire time was Mach. That was it.
Well, wait a minute. So you're saying that only Kamen Rider gets bad if it takes 30 episodes to bring in a plot, not just every Toku in general?
God. Well, we're going to get into worse on that later, but that was one of the biggest problems this show had.
I think what my love-hate relationship with Drive is I love the gimmick.
The gimmick was great. It was original. But you also have to look at it on this aspect, too, is the actor who played Kamen Rider Drive has pretty much disowned Toku after this. I'm wondering if it's he just hated working on the project, or if it's like what
Or he's like a diva or something.
or what Time Red did, who didn't want to get typecast. But just given the way the series ended up going, it seemed like there were production issues behind the scenes, and there were writing issues going on.
Well, the writing issues were very apparent even from the beginning of the series. I did like the because wasn't this one
The one that had the cop that they kept trying to figure out who he was.
not the black comedian. That was
Lupinranger.
That was
Lupinranger. Oh yes, duh. Okay, never mind. I did like I like the chief for the police officers. I did like the dynamic between the characters for the police team. However, my problem was I checked out. I didn't finish the series. I think we got to episode 18?
We got to like 24. Right, just before it was like right before Chaser became a Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You guys
Because
stopped right there.
We just got so bored with it doing the same thing over and over. It's
Well,
like,
it didn't feel like it was progressing the story at all. And it's one of those difficult things. For me, I love gimmicks for Tokusatsu series. That's one of the selling points for me. I feel like I'm a big kid that way because the gimmicks, if I can connect with the gimmicks and enjoy the gimmicks and feel like they work for the series, I enjoy it. Drive, the only reason it wasn't on my list is because of the rule that we had to complete the series. And that's a challenge, is because I love the gimmick, but it's not my series. It's not one of my favorite series, and it's one of my worst because of the simple fact it could not tell a story to save its life.
Yeah, when Chase became a common writer, I got reinvested, but then once the final arc hit, I just forced myself to finish it because I'm like, well, I'm 6 episodes from the end. I'm just going to finish it. Yeah.
And what's your number 1 or number 5?
Number 5? Ooh. Okay.
And like I said, this doesn't have to be a particular order. You're just choosing.
Well, it's a toss-up between 2 series.
My God, you can't just keep it simple.
Well, no, because Ultraman Ginga's first season
Oh God, that was boring.
was awful. That is the worst series to introduce someone to the world of Ultraman for.
Well, I can honestly say I nearly quit Ultraman. If not for the fact that we had watched a few other series.
We had watched Orb and X before.
Yes, we had watched those 2 series before. I can honestly say I would be like, nope, you're continuing this journey on your own. Because that series, oh my God, the first season. Oh.
And it was only like 11 episodes, but those episodes seemed to go on forever.
And there are 20-minute episodes. How can you have a 20-minute episode feel like it's going for 75 minutes?
But I think my number 5 is going to be Garo, the one who shines in darkness. This was just awful. It took everything about Garo that was good, the cinematography, the atmosphere, the cool actual what's it called?
You mean the actual suits?
Actual suits, but the effects.
The special effects went full CGI.
Yeah, everything was CGI this, CGI
They
that.
even had CGI boobs. How do you do CGI boobs right? DOA figured it out. How can a television show not?
And the lead character is just one of those you want to punch in the face.
That's Ryuga, right? Or Ryuga?
Ryuga.
Ryuga.
He is so boring, and the battles were like 5 seconds apiece. The horrors weren't even real horrors. They were like the Las Plagas from Resident Evil, where their mouths just opened up with blah, I'm horrifying, blah, brains, blah.
And one of the best fight scenes in the entire series was CGI, but it happened so early on that you're like,
Episode 8, I think.
that, okay, this might have promise, and then we just sat through and suffered for the rest of this.
I will say, giving it some kind of benefit of the doubt, they did try something new.
They tried something new, but it was garbage. And it's until the new one coming up, it was the only Garo series Keita Amamiya had nothing to do with because he was busy on other projects. And now, and it was like pretty much at that point, Amamiya was like, yeah, I'm not going to just go and leave Garo alone again because of practical effects. That's what I was trying to say. Practical effects.
Which makes me concerned with the new one since it's going to be a
Like, yeah,
hybrid
they had
CGI.
CGI in the other series because you're going to have to with how huge those things are. And when you have the environments, the creative stuff where you have like Koga is being attacked by calligraphy, that's got to be CGI. But they tried to make everything look as real as they could so that the practical effects and the CGI fused into one most of the time. This was just, everything looked CGI. Everything looked like a PlayStation 3 video game cutscene.
Well,
And then Gokai Silver his character was one of the whiniest, most underused.
It was horrible because it felt forced. It's like, well, since you were this guy in Sentai, we want to do the exact opposite. We're going to make you super edgy, super dark. You're going to be angry all the time. You're going to have this girlfriend that's going to die.
You're going to lose your arm towards the end of the series.
Well, I think the hardest part about having him in the series is not simply just the Sentai aspect, but also at the time because of the Sentai aspect. Because you don't want an actor to be typecast. And I imagine that's what his intention was, which has nothing to do with the Sentai aspect. But on the flip side, everyone who watches Sentai, who also watches other things tokusatsu, is so used to him playing Guy in Gokaiger, who is this upbeat fanboy who is like super extra with everything he did. And it was kind of like, if you're going to try something different to do it more subtly, I think he could have played better being the more serious character on the group, because that would have been a nice change, because he tried to do that upbeat extraness that he had from Gokaiger, but in a suave, debonair way, which does not work if you don't know how to act that way either.
And then the Maokai Priestess made Reika look like she could act.
Oh my god.
She was bad. I like that somebody actually did a thing with her, and they do, whenever she's doing the attacks, they have the persona bullets on it.
Well, you also had the police officer woman who was investigating everything and kept on coming on the scene like 2 seconds later, that was trying to investigate the horrors, and she was just so wooden.
But not as wooden as another character we'll be talking about later from another Garo show.
But yeah, it's... One Who Shines in Darkness was awful. Just a horrible series. Not even that fun to watch. There was nothing in it. There was no atmosphere. There was nothing horror-esque.
Yeah. So, Cruellica.
Oh, wait.
No.
And it had 2 clip shows.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle,
yeah.
throughout the series. 2 freaking clip shows for a 25-episode series.
Episode 9 and episode 19. 10 episodes apart from each
Was
other.
it those 2?
Yeah, it was those 2.
But yeah, it was like, really? Okay.
So my next series I have on my list is actually my only Kamen Rider series on this list. And it's a disappointment for me, mainly for 2 reasons. One, I love the gimmick. And I actually like the main 2 riders. However, everything else fell flat so quickly, and they forgot to finish off the story, and that's Kamen Rider Wizard.
What happens when you have a drama writer come in and try to write a Toku series and fail?
Bitch, please.
Yeah.
Because Haruto and, oh god, what was his name for Beast?
I don't know.
But Beast, so Wizard and Beast, the 2 main writers for the series, I love them. And actually, Beast is one of my all-time favorite writers. I actually have almost every piece of gimmick for Beast.
Mr. Mayonnaise Addict.
Oh my god. The way he worked off the comedy compared to the seriousness that Wizard was doing.
Haruto.
Haruto.
Who was pretty one-dimensional, joyless, and bland. And then you had his girlfriend, who supposed to be like the most important character in the show. And
Kiyomi.
Kiyomi, and she gets relegated to being a wallpaper for most of the series, as she just spends the entire series in the background looking at her crystal ball.
And then she doesn't become important until the last 4 episodes of the series?
So I think, and Kosuke is the name of Wizard, or of Beast. And what I really liked about him is, what stood out for me in episode, because I want to talk about the positives first, because there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of negatives.
Phoenix?
Is actually the Magical Girl episode. When Beast had to play off as the Magical Girl, which was...
Oh, is that the one where the one annoying sidekick had to dress up as a girl, and he made a better female than he did for a male character?
Yep.
What is that brat's name?
I don't know. The other thing, and I wish I could remember her name, is the one thing that this series did that even we haven't done in the United States for many, many, many years, if at all, is they actually had a transgender character who played in many of the episodes. And they didn't do it in a derogatory manner. She played the donut truck. And I loved her in the movie when she got her own arc where she got to play as Wizard, so to speak. So those are the good things.
And Phoenix.
The bad things.
Everything else?
Yes. Kiyomi was a horrible addition because she played this psychic, this tarot,
she's supposed to be
witchy.
The whole motivation for Haruto.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even do anything for the entire series.
And then you have up until about episode 30, I would say, it felt like they had a consistent story progression. They figured out what they were going to do. They had an idea of where they were going to go with it. And then, rather than creating new riders, they almost and Kain did this as well, and the Kain pissed me off, but it kind of made sense with the nut riders, so to speak.
It was just nuts.
Is the for the evil riders, they were all the same costume.
Oh, the mages.
Mages. And that's where the story really fell flat, because
Well, they were cheap looking, and
they did not connect to the entirety of the plot. It felt like once they answered the main question, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, because it is well worth a watch. I won't deny anyone that. But they answered the question of Haruto and Kiyomi's motivation around episode 30. And it was like, we finished our story. Shit, we have 20 episodes left. What do we do?
well, the other thing is, no one ever turned into a gate. Haruto never or turned into a phantom. They were gates that would turn. No, Haruto never failed.
No.
So therefore, he had no character arc because he never actually, because all the loss he experienced was before the series took place.
Yeah, and you always saw it in mini flashbacks. They were practically the same scene over
It was
and
like Gundam
over.
Seed Destiny.
We're not going to go
let's not
there.
go there.
But yeah, it was awful because it was always the same plot. The two-parters were all the same formula, over and over. Haruto never lost, and then he gets his ultimate form.
Oh, Eternal, I think it is.
Yeah.
Eternity.
Which,
Eternity.
if you ever want to drive yourself insane, just go over to Silverquill's house, even though you don't know where he lives, but figuratively think you go over to Silverquill's house because he has the Eternity ring and he has a belt and he will do that non-stop.
And then the final villain that they introduced with his rider form was one of those, called it.
Well, the problem is also...
Oh, both of you. That's the other terrible thing I hate when watching a tokusatsu show. When you want mystery, you want to be surprised. And then you have these two lovely assholes sitting there. I bet this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. That's the one thing I have to say I'm really, truly enjoying about 01 is you can't call all the surprises.
Maybe.
We may have a
Oh,
contradiction
shush.
here.
So, the other thing is, instead of giving Haruto 4 different forms, it should have been different riders.
Mm-hmm.
One rider hurricane, one rider water, one rider fire, one rider for earth. And that is what would have been used to create the Philosopher's Stone at the end, instead of just having Haruto with every form.
And then 3 of those characters shoot in at the last minute.
And you know what? It's magic. They could have, if they wanted an ultimate form, had all 4 of them fuse into one being.
Oh, kind of like what they do with Double.
Yeah. Or there was one other theory, I remember we were talking about this, that would have made it better, is if the people that were used to create the Philosopher's Stone had been 4 people that had been turned into phantoms that Haruto had failed to save.
Yeah, there were so many possibilities with that show. I will say Wizard is probably the most Showa-esque Heisei Kamen Rider series because of how formulaic it plays, how one-dimensional the characters are. The best character in the show was actually the cat phantom who just sat around being lazy.
The Rastafarian! I love the Rastafarian phantom. All right.
But it was just playing on that stereotype, though.
Yeah. And that was episode arc.
That was episode 3.
Yeah,
I was
3
going to
and
say
4.
it was like super early in the series.
I think that was 3 and 4.
All right, Advent. What is your next one?
So, I'm going to bring up my first of the 3 Sentai series I have on this. And it's a problem of too many Rangers, too many characters to keep track of with Kyuranger.
Oh!
And Asa Lucky.
Yosha Lucky. Yosha Lucky is like the bastard love child of Bon, Daigo, and Takaharu combined into one annoying
character who is plot armor Deus Ex Machina.
And he knows he's the main character of the show, so nothing can ever faze him.
See, what really bothered me about him knowing he was the main character, essentially, obviously he never said he was the main character, but the way he acted, is if they could break the fourth wall and almost do like a Deadpool moment where he can actually look to the audience and almost give like a wink, nudge, nudge, I'm the main character, that could have been funny. And I really have to say the reason why this is not on my list is A, I knew it was going to be on either or both of yours, and I figured I'd be talking about it anyways.
Well, technically this is my number one for...
But the other problem is they had way too many characters to really give anyone, even Red, a chance to truly develop as a character.
The show is 50 episodes. If you can't flesh out an entire cast like that in 50 episodes, you're a poor writer.
No, okay, I do agree with that.
You had 14 characters, 12 Rangers to flesh out, and it felt like only 8 got fleshed out, and Stinger was probably the most fleshed out of them all.
Oh,
and
but
Phoenix Soldier.
Yeah.
I do have to say Stinger, though. Oh my god, I had such high hopes because, one, he was hot.
I was just going to say, you were just drooling over him.
But he had so much potential.
And then it's like...
Actually, no, the Rhino one I thought was super cool.
The
non-human
boxer. Yeah, the non-human characters were waste of voice actor talent.
But, well, I'll get into that later. But, no, the other problem was, okay, Yellow, Green, and Blue barely had any episodes to themselves.
They gave Green the movie crossover, basically the main plot.
Well, she was like Melee, but done bad.
And it was... And then, like Kaijiki Ranger, whatever it was, his whole purpose was, I want to feed people. That's his entire character development of the entire series.
And speaking of Green, her entire character arc is with Melee in the movie.
See, I actually kind of was hoping that the light blue, the little Kid Ranger, that, because he had that ancient spirit in him, because that's how he got the Ranger power to begin with, I actually kind of hoped they could do a little bit more with him. Because think about, Die Ranger. Ko. They did so much with him because you got to play with the fact that he was like a little brat, but he was a kid, but he was a ranger.
And a pervert.
I was just going to go with brat. But there was so much you could do with a Kid Ranger, and they did it. They did it with the Sixth Ranger for a kid. How could they fail at it here when it's a kids-oriented show? You got to have a kids viewing it, because technically this is made for children, to actually kind of vicariously live through the character, and you never got to do that.
Now, my favorite Ranger at least got some development, but he was one of the side Rangers in Violet, the Dragon Commander. At least he was funny.
Oh, no. He did so many puns.
Yeah, but one of my biggest flaws with the show is you have a space-themed Sentai, yet you spend 80% of the series on Earth.
Well,
or Earth-like.
Yeah.
There was that, because like one of the alien planets looked just like Japan, but with some CGI alien buildings in the way. Yeah. And then we have the garbage that were the villains. Like, you don't even learn who the main villain truly is, what his story is, until like episode 40.
Yeah. So, we'll get off on this one, let you rant more when it comes up.
I pretty much don't have much else to say about this, other than it is, hands down, the worst Toku series of the 2010s.
Alrighty then. What's your next one then?
Ooh.
I know you got tons, so you could probably fill another spot.
Ninninger.
Oh, you mean the racist American Ranger?
Ninninger is it's what Kyuranger would have been if Kyuranger had been made in this decade when Sentai has gone to shit.
Or it would have been Hurricanenger made even...
No, because the villains were yokai, but this time around, instead of being terrifying, they were just jokes. Like, yeah, Kyuranger had comedy bits in the show. The first half was more silly than the second half. But you still got the sense that the yokai could kill you in Kyuranger. Plus, it balanced the comedy and seriousness together. Ninninger was like, well, we want this serious theme, but we're going to fill it up with all kinds of I think my computer just did the beep thing for the bling thingamajig that will be on the file. But anyway.
Well, now it'll be on the file because you talked about it.
But but then Ninninger was like, okay, we're going to make all these things serious. The yokais are going to be jokes. All because they wanted to appeal to the yokai watch crowd.
Which failed epically. And waste of Sailor Moon's voice actress. Waste of Frieza's voice actor.
And, the guy from Hibiki.
Yeah.
Matsumoto.
Yeah. And for this show, which is also on my list as well, Ninninger is my second least favorite series of the decade. But
there are cool things I like about it, which is why it is not number one, because the fact that they were trying to do more bodily movements with their stunts was cool when they actually did that and didn't go into CGI fest.
Now, bringing in Hurricaneger and Kyuranger into this continuity, I'm like, how? This doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't make sense.
And then Jiraiya pops
but
up.
all it did was make me want to watch Kyuranger again rather than Ninninger.
So, my biggest problem, and this is actually why I gave up on Ninninger, because I got out of it as quickly as I could. I was like, this is a bad relationship. I feel abused right now. I need therapy. Let me just leave. Is because when they brought in the Sixth Ranger, the American Ninja, the one thing I liked about Kyuranger is all the characters were very dynamic in how they presented everything. They were engaging, they were dynamic, they were fun. And then you get to having Jiraiya as the core cast. He barely knew Japanese even before the series starts.
Well, Jiraiya was not his...
Well, no, the actual actor didn't even know Japanese fluently as at the start either. Jiraiya as a character didn't know Japanese. And actually, when he was speaking Japanese, once he became more fluent as you went along, he still was not speaking at the speed of a native-born Japanese person. Because he is actually not Japanese. He's, I think his mother is Chinese and his dad's...
Japanese.
Japanese.
Oh, he is Japanese.
Yeah, he is. He's half Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he was even... I thought he was like
his
Chinese
father,
and Indonesian.
His father was in the American Ninja films.
Yeah, his dad was a Japanese-American ninja star.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or something like that.
Yeah, if anybody ever watched the American Ninja movies from the late 70s, early 80s, his father was one of the main characters in those.
And that's why the episode he premieres is called American Ninja.
And I appreciated it because it was... At least for all the Sentai series I had watched beforehand, it was nice because it was a change of pace of having a different dynamic. So when I heard there was an American Ninja coming into Ninninger, I was beyond excited because I'm like, okay, I'm down with this. They did it well in Kyuranger. Maybe they'll strike gold again.
They went with the most stereotypical way you could present this.
And the guy, and unlike Jiraiya in Kyuranger, who spoke English, this character, not once do I remember him really speaking English without a very thick accent to the point you knew he never spoke English.
Yeah, and it was a Osakan accent too, which is like, okay, so you're playing the stereotype of Osaka being Japan's Texas with him being a Texan American.
Well, people have done that for years. Even when they're dubbing Osaka accents into English, they give it a southern accent. So it's almost like Osaka is considered the south of Japan.
That part was actually also because it was made that his way of speech was taken from Rokoku, whatever, films.
So he was playing up on the old samurai style films as well.
Yes.
So I think that's what my biggest problem with Ninninger was. It's like, if you're gonna have an American Ninja, at least not do it where it's just a slap in the face. Americans like cheeseburgers. They like
rock and roll.
There's so much more, and it's shame on Japan for that, especially for the writers of this, because yes, we're Americans looking on and we're weeaboos when we come to it ourselves, but at least we know that, or most of us know and most people know, that Japan is not based on their pop culture. Pop culture does not describe Japan solely as a culture.
Except for their idol culture.
Well, we won't go there.
Yeah.
Because we also have tabloids.
Yeah.
So with that, I guess...
So your next pick, then.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ninninger was yours.
Yep.
We've been so much ranting on Ninninger. Wait, no, Ninninger was mine.
No, it was his.
Oh, yeah,
He did say that.
because that was my number 4.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, because I know this is going to be on everybody's list, I will
Yeah.
save this last. My next one is the only Garo series I have, and that's Garo Dragonblood.
So I won't go on to my next series on this one, because this would be my next one as well, talking on this, because Ray is a character. I have enjoyed him in the past. Ray is hot.
Well, duh, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
That French blood does him very good.
Reika was actually tolerable in this show.
She knew how to act. I was so proud of her.
But
And then we have Alice.
Yeah, Alice, which is why this series is so horrible. And this is only a 12-episode Garo series.
And yet it feels like it's 30.
Yeah.
Mainly because I don't know what it is. With Zero Dragonblood or the Garo verse, however you want to do it, every story I've mainly seen with Zero in it, even when he was in what's called
Kamen Rider 5?
No, well, okay, if we go that far back, even in Kamen Rider 5, he helped make that villain arc, because him listening to House of Pain...
He was the best Orphanoch, I think.
Yeah, he listened to Jump Around.
What, was he the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one.
He was because he was like 17 or 18 in that show. But when we got into this, he did so much with this character. He truly made a side character, and I kind of feel like they actually added more for his character because of all the love that people had for a side character that was supposed to be the antagonist.
Yeah, and then look at Black Blood, the series before this one, which was only 6 episodes, which was a really good show with a villain that was from America, spoke English, and had a very awesome plot I don't want to go into. And then we go into Dragon Blood, which, what was the villain's motivation? To destroy the world? I don't remember much else than that.
I just... the only thing I remember is Alice's horrible acting, the ending didn't make sense, and the one cool thing I will say about the show was the timer in the corner so that the fights were actually done in real time.
Yeah.
Which was cool, and it made up for when people were like, oh, well, the reason the fight's in the one who shines in darkness is because there's only a 99-second time limit. Well, here... they just gave you a freaking 99-second time limit in the corner of the screen, and you can see those fights are way longer than the fights of the one who shines in darkness.
I think the problem I have with this as well is I don't expect stellar acting. Even when we watched the first Garo series back in 2006,
A lot of the side characters were AV actors.
AV actors or in the porn industry. So
Yeah.
it's not like these are high-class people that know how to do much acting with their clothes on.
A lot of them were acting with their clothes off anyway. So.
Exactly. Many times they were. But they still were able to connect with the story, connect with the characters that they were playing, and help progress the story. It felt like everyone, including Ray,
Was bored.
like, I'm phoning it in. I don't care anymore. The story is bad. The script is bad.
He had no chemistry at all with the actress who played Alice, which wasn't even an actress. This was her first acting gig. She was a fashion model before doing this.
Which, to be fair, I know everyone has to start somewhere. I will never, ever take that away from someone, because I know how hard it is to get in front of a crowd, to get on a screen and talk to people. Even this is kind of challenging, and we're not even looking at you.
We do panels live, and we've become very natural at it now, but when we were first doing it, it was difficult.
Exactly. So I can appreciate the comment of this was her first acting gig. However, it did not feel like she was actually trying. If she actually felt like she was putting effort into it and not phoning it in, then maybe. Because Reika, when she walked in on screen, she actually did not seem like she was phoning it in. She did not, you could not tell the nerves. Like when you saw her first special, even though she was terrible, even though you could see she was trying, the nerves were really bringing that performance down. Here it was like, finally, I'm used to what I'm doing. I'm used to performing. I can get it done. But it was such a disappointment. And the characters, the story, I could barely remember the story, but I know they're playing on the whole Alice in Wonderland.
You have
motif.
the
egg and the dragon
yeah, she
and
found
the devil.
egg and had to protect the egg. She goes to that bar that Ray is frequent, and she stayed with the bar owner. And there was this dude who was saved by the dragon or something, and something happened, and there was an ending in a fight.
Something dark side.
And Alice went crazy or something. I don't remember.
And they're trying to build this chemistry for this romantic subplot, which between her and Ray. And the problem I have with that is
he's old enough to be her grandfather at that point.
Well, we're not going to go there because he's really not that old.
Well, no, but the way it was is that he's old enough to be her father, and yet they're trying to put some type of love chemistry.
Well, but at the same time, if you think about it, if you know his plot from the prior installments of the Garoverse, after he lost his love, he wasn't looking for anyone else. The only person he actually became close with that you could see a romantic love, if not for the fact that Koga would kill him, would be Kaoru.
Yeah, and then
because they had that connection.
And then you're kind of seeing Reika kind of has a thing for Ray, but Ray could care less.
Well,
Couldn't care less.
yeah. But that was the thing that really bothered me because I'm like, Ray it didn't work for his character because he was supposed to be that lone swordsman.
Yeah, the one who's lost his love and doesn't want to feel love again.
Yeah, he felt it once and he never wants to experience that heartbreak. So rather than experiencing the heartbreak, I will move on.
So you took what was going to be my next one up. Was that going to be your next one up?
No.
What was going to be
We're
yours?
on number 3?
Yeah.
No, 2.
This will be number 2 now because that was my number 3.
No, because remember, I did... Because you took my Kyuranger, which is my number 1.
True, yeah.
Number 3.
Well, if you're going to talk about the series that just completed, that's probably mine and his number 1, so you need to pick something else.
Well, that's my number 2, but...
Well, pick something else.
My number 3 is a Kamen Rider series. First season showed a lot of promise. It felt like an older Heisei Kamen Rider series. Second season, we've got necrophilia, boredom, and whatever the hell that shit was. And that's Kamen Rider Amazons.
Ugh.
When you said necrophilia, I actually stopped and paused. I'm like, what necrophilia? Where
And yes, there was.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
and
the kid in the
I
zombie girl.
I know. Because she...
The whole second season made no sense with how the first season ended.
The first season... So, we have a friend who I adore, who's super serious, and I'm not talking about the nihilistic one, I'm talking about the other one, not Silver Quill either, who is super serious, and it's hard for him to connect with different shows. I think we watched Amazon with him. Was he still here when we were watching Amazon?
No, he was not.
Oh, okay. I kind of felt like he was.
Come on, Ryan?
Yeah.
No. He's been gone before Amazon.
Okay, because I could swear if we watched it with him, the first season of Amazon, he would have been all in because that was very well done. The story was all collaborative. It was connected. It was positive. I think all of us unitedly were like, this is the greatest Kamen Rider we've seen in years because it was the most adult Kamen Rider.
It was serious.
It was made for the adult fans. We know you're all out there. Here's a gift for you.
And then all the side characters you can relate to in season 1. Season 2 threw every character arc out the window.
Basically, season 2 was about that series that was made for you fans who are older, who wanted to enjoy something that was going to connect to you personally.
Well, we're going to throw all those characters out the window that you liked and put in these new characters that you're not going to like.
And then everything that happened between the first and second season
Was off screen,
doesn't exist. So you're just going to have to trust us.
Jin suddenly has like scarring all over
And
his face.
and his wife is dead. He has a child.
And then the movie, the climax of this was ugh.
But yeah, and then not to mention they didn't even actually show us the battle at the end between the new character and the old characters. They had what was it? Was it Jin or was it
It was Jin and his
or was it Amazon, the original guy that fought the new kid, but they did it off screen.
No, it was Jin who it was Jin, original Amazon, and that new kid because they were all there.
Yeah, the two original fought the new kid, and then you just see
And
a
then it
cut,
just
and then it
ended.
ends.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah, they didn't actually show you their final
I
fight.
kind of felt like when we were watching that, and I think we all felt that, but I felt like it was a huge slap in the face for everything we enjoyed in the first season. It just did not care. And
whoever wrote this series obviously wasn't a Kamen Rider fan, it seemed like.
No, they...
Actually, it was by a guy who's written a couple Kamen Rider series.
Well, apparently he forgot what he was doing. So...
But yeah, it was just an awful mess. The first season's the only thing worth watching. If at this point, I don't know if I'd ever watch the first season again because of the second season and the movie.
But the nice thing is, if you ever do decide to watch Kamen Rider Amazons, if you have not, is at least the first season ends in a manner that you don't have to connect with the second season to get a complete story.
Yeah.
You get a complete enough story, you can step away and be fine.
Well, there's still some things open though.
Well, that's any Japanese television show.
Yeah, we're used to that.
I'm sorry, Escaflowne much?
That was complete.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Just
Yes, it was.
because Vaughn and Hitomi did not get together
It was
does not
not
mean it was
complete.
not complete.
I refuse to ever acknowledge that the series was complete.
It was complete.
It was not.
So we're on to our number twos, which I've already talked about my number two via Kaiju.
I've already... I've already talked about all the other series. I have one left.
What was your number two?
Okay, so you're going to make me rehash what we just recorded. So
No,
I have Zyuohger, Wizard... Oh, shit, I did miss one.
Yeah, because there is one series that's all going to be on all of ours.
So let me talk about my last series, and then we can nominate our last one. So, because I messed up, the next series I want to talk about is one that I thought was going to be so damn cool. You're going to have cops versus robbers. That's like the most ancient thing kids have been playing for years. Probably not in Japan, so maybe that's why it failed. But I know even as a girl in the 80s, wow, I feel old. Cops versus robbers. Cowboys versus Indians. All of that versus things. It was like finally, and then the robbers, so to speak, or the thieves, were based on like Persona as characters. I was like, oh my god, it's like watching Persona 5 live action.
Well, that's because the Persona 5 characters are based on Lupin.
And then it failed. And that is Kaito Sentai Lupinranger versus Keisatsu Sentai Patranger.
Which, both the Reds were great.
Okay, I liked the Reds. I liked Lupin Blue.
Lupin Blue.
And then Lupin Yellow, she was a pop star. So she already knew what she was doing to connect with an audience. So she always did it. Now, Pata Pink.
Well, they went by numbers, remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
One, two, and three.
Three. So Pata 3, who was Pink, who was the Pink Ranger, they just couldn't figure out what to do with her. They wanted to go the serious route, but they wanted to have like the quirky aspects. And then you had Pata 2, which was their Green Ranger.
He was the comic relief.
I loved the Green Ranger. He was, especially when he did like the acting one, and he did the director, I think, or was he the movie star?
He was the one that got when he got gender swapped.
Yeah, gender swapped. Oh my god, the gender... I am not a fan of gender swap except for Gokaiger, because that was a brilliant gender swap episode. And then this, because when he did the gender swap and he played a female, oh my lord, that man has a career as a crossdresser.
The 7th Ranger, though, was... You thought it was going to have a
Noel?
plot? It was
I
Noel,
like Noel, because I like the craziness of him.
but his plot almost went nowhere, even though it was supposed to be a big plot line.
His plot
Well, that
went...
was the biggest problem with Lupinranger in general, is that all these plot lines were non-existent.
Well,
until-
there's the other thing that you just said. That was the other big problem with the series. The problem with Lupinranger. What's the problem with Lupinranger? Maybe because it's not Lupinranger. It's Lupinranger versus Patranger. However, what did we not get much of?
The Patrangers. And the villains were one-dimensional as hell.
That was the thing. Like, Zamigo, he is supposed to be the main motivation for why the Lupinrangers exist in the first place. He was in the show like maybe 6 times in total, because he would show up, then he'd disappear for like 10 episodes. Show up, be like, hi, I'm here, bye.
Which is why you do not cast an actor doing another serious drama the same time they're doing another show.
Well, that was exactly what I was going to say. If you're going to cast someone to be in a show that is going to be a main core villain, either recast or figure something else out, because they based all of their plots on a character that you barely saw. Now, there were some of the
Silver Quill loved the skunk.
oh god, there were some monsters of the week that were perfect. Like the fitness episode. Oh my god. The fitness episode I absolutely enjoyed. And there were so many good things. This show had so much
It had
potential.
a really good camera episode, even though it was CGI when they got the Magnum.
Well, and there were bits I liked. In fact, that was one thing I forgot to mention with Kyuranger. Like, Kyuranger did have a cool moments where they'd have like this first-person viewpoint for like 5 seconds of watching a ranger fight in battle, first-person view. This one had this interesting like circular type camera style where it was like the camera was curved as they would fight in battle, but they would only have that for like 10 seconds at times.
And they had so much potential, because having 2 ranger teams that have countering objectives playing off of each other was phenomenal. And they also did something
The problem is they wanted to play it safe instead of actually going all out.
And then the series gets to an end. Then you find out the actual ending of the show is in a straight-to-video crossover movie with Kyuranger and Gavin.
That is the ending to it.
Which none of us have actually seen, because I think none of us care.
Nope, I will watch them when I go and review the series.
Well, I will say the other thing I really liked about this series is 2 dates. You finally had a tokusatsu series where one of the main people in the series, not the commander, was literally a non-Japanese citizen. He, I'm trying to remember where he is from, because I thought that was like the most fascinating thing in the world.
And he's a very well-regarded comedian.
Yeah, he's a black comedian in Japan.
Well,
and they didn't really do anything with him.
Yeah.
And his name was director Samuel Hilltop. The best thing that they did with him, because once again, an 80s and 90s kid, if you've never seen it, Beverly Hills Cop is awesome. And they made so many joke references to Beverly Hills Cop, literally, because you have director Samuel Hilltop.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a tongue-in-cheek reference to the character.
They even do an actual screenshot with the mustache that Eddie Murphy had in those movies with him in it.
And you had, finally, it was really taking on that aspect of having someone who was non-Japanese descent, being able to take on a role and actually try something new. Because we've had non-Japanese characters in other Sentais before, so it's not unheard of.
Well, we had Shinken Brown, the guy that played Shinken Brown, and
Cyan.
Kyoru Cyan.
And then you also had, sometimes you had the random side characters.
Bucky Bonds from Patranger.
So there were many times where you had characters who are non-Japanese descent, but not anything, because even Cyan wasn't in very many episodes.
And he is Japanese, is slow, but the actor playing Hilltop, he speaks like a fluent Japanese accent.
Because he's been there for, I think, like about 15, 20 years from when I was looking up, and because I thought it was fascinating. Because it was nice representation of seeing something different. He's not an American, he's a Canadian. Not that it means much difference, but it was just nice to see a different sort of representation in a tokusatsu series. Once again, so many missed opportunities, but I would recommend it for at least a watch. It's just one of my worst.
It's worth one watch.
Yeah, it's worth going through at least once.
It's just one of my worst series of the decade because of the fact that... Well, we're not going to get there. Is just because of the fact that it did not follow through with everything that it could.
Yeah.
And the gimmick sucked.
So, the gimmick I was very disappointed on.
Which toy sales collapsed, but going on to our next one, which is killed the toys in Japan down to a C-class rating with the upcoming series.
Do you want to announce that one?
Let's talk about this.
This was actually my second choice, but it is Ryusoulger!
Just completed this past week.
It's okay. There are 6 important episodes in the entire show. 1, 2, 1, 2, Kanalo's introduction. Kanalo joins the team. Actually, I guess it's a little bit more. Episode 45, where they give you the entire plot of the entire story of the series in one exposition dump. 46, 47, 48. So 8 episodes. The entire series is story-based. Everything else is garbage filler.
Yeah, there's a problem when 80% of your show is filler.
That means less than a quarter of the show is actually story-driven.
And let's not forget, Ko is extremely bland as a Red Ranger.
But I will give him credit, at least he wasn't screaming at the top of his lungs like a dying cat.
Like Lucky.
I would say if I had to pick who was my favorite of the core 6 Rangers, because when you had Kanalo come in, he stayed. He didn't go away. Was probably Bomba.
He's my favorite.
Yeah.
And well, I think we have different reasons why.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably like it just because you're like, he's hot.
Melto.
Well, he did have his in the last 2 episodes. It was great. I was like, ooh, half naked man.
Melto felt like he was the most developed of the Rangers.
Well, no, truthfully, without going on looks, Melto is one of my favorites. It's just
the creepy relationship with Oda.
Okay, how about Asuna? We first have early in the one series. Oh, Asuna, you're pretty. And then when they have their dream sequences in the second last episode, her whole motivation is she wants to eat food.
Yeah, that.
Well, that was pretty. But that was a common theme. She always was eating.
But that's all her character is.
Oh no, she's pretty and hungry. Yeah.
Is your jaw dropped at the death of Nada when he had his speech about Asuna.
Oh my god.
And that was right after we watched Inhumanoids.
Yeah.
So, I will say, tokusatsu of both the live action and the animated formats have brought out the inner feminist in me. And I'm not one of those women who wants to be the bra brain, mainly because they're super expensive, especially the bigger you get. Or I don't believe in the whole, oh my god, men get treated differently than women. I know it exists. Not saying it's not a problem, because it certainly is. But I'm not going to sit there and spout something that's obvious to the world. However, both when we're watching Gatchaman and when we're watching, well, Ultraman Jax did it to me as well. Along with this series, I'm like, seriously, is that all that characters are if they have a vagina?
She basically was just a fan service character for this show.
And she wasn't even fan servicey. It's like, usually when you have a fan service character, because admittedly, when they say, which I will get there later, because we're going to talk about that, when they say that they need to bring different genders into the audience for a show, I'm like, you already do it with fan service. Yes, you also have to do it with a good story, because I'm sorry, that's what brings in audiences, a good story, not just fan service, not just a gimmick, shit like that. But if you have something pretty to look at, both male and female are going to go in droves.
Yeah. Bamba being the fan service for the soccer mom.
But
how does that make me feel?
There was no plot to
No,
the
there
show.
wasn't.
There's zero plot at all.
Oh my god, the one character says it best. What's in the series? Nada.
Yeah.
And then we have the villains that you had such a great voice cast that was utterly wasted on these worthless villains that did nothing.
Oh my god, all I heard, audience of the world, is how much Kaiju and others hated the fact that Joji Nakata was there and gone.
Yeah.
He's like, it's Joji Nakata!
Joji Nakata, Hikaru Midorikawa. We had
the singing episode with Hikaru Midorikawa was great.
Romy Paku is
Romy Park.
Yeah.
And who I'm missing the other villain who like died, but then it turned out he had just run away. That he just ran away. That was funny though. That scene when they're like, "So you ran away?" No. I just escaped. So I just retreated. A tactical retreat.
That's running
so
away.
So you ran away.
Yeah.
They brought Wiseau back without even explaining how they brought Wiseau back.
And the best episode of him is when he's playing like this stage master.
Yeah.
That was
which was probably the best episode of the entire series.
Then it was just, and the ending was so horrible and rushed. It didn't even make sense. Like the first part, 47, they like stood around talking the entire time. Then in 48, they're just battle. Okay, we've got 5 minutes for epilogue. Like, what the hell was that?
Oh, well, yeah, no. Ryusoulger, and I know we're going to have a reaction video because I really want to get into each episode specifically for that, so we'll get into more detail later.
I will not be at that one.
No, it'll be myself, Kaiju, and Silverquill.
Yeah.
Well, we'll probably have that out before this podcast is out.
True.
So, you may see that beforehand, but whatever. We love you anyways.
Yeah. And I will say, though, I did like the way they did some of the mechs because the mechs could actually move, but they didn't actually do anything with the mechs.
Yeah. And this series suffered from another one where you got a drama writer outside that never worked on Tokusatsu
Which
before.
should have been great.
Which has worked with Kamen Rider in the past. Did not work here.
It's like they picked this drama writer because they wanted to do some serious story-based Sentai, and then suddenly Toei's like, you know what, we can't do that. What was it was the old man when he puts on the brown armor.
Yeah.
You have this serious scene with Precious where Red and Pink are going in there, trying to get whatever it was they were doing. They're going, because they had to break the shield on and it's all serious, all dramatic, and then the Seto comes in, puts on this armor, and he's like, whoa, I'm an old man in armor, whoa, it just completely breaks the tension and everything. That was pretty much Ryusoulger in a nutshell, because it was saying, it's Toei going, this is too serious, we need to step it back and go more comedic, because the young audience won't understand it if it's serious. They won't like it.
And then Nada getting killed off after one episode of real character development.
He wasn't really the only character who even did get character development.
Yeah.
We did get Cole with his... we did see some character development with Cole with his childhood.
We're going to move on from
And then we did have...
useless.
and speaking of useless characters, Yui.
Yeah.
Oh, who they actually wrote out of the series?
She was gone. She was like missing for like 10 episodes. Comes in just to say she's going to America.
And honestly, I thought that was a different actress.
For the ending? I don't know.
Yeah. So before we cancel out this podcast, let's talk about Kyuranger.
So yes, our newest series that's going to be coming out in...
So wait, did we cover all
Yes.
the...
Yeah,
we covered everything.
So I can go now? I'm free?
Nope.
Nope. We just
You're
have
here.
to finish off the little rant about why none of us are excited for Kyuranger.
So, all I'm going to say about Kyuranger is, get back here, is the fact that...
Come on.
is I don't like how they've already tried to color it negatively with the aspect of saying we're going to try to appeal to both boys and girls, so girls like jewelry, boys like cars, so it's going to be a match made in hell.
Yeah, and also the mechs are bringing back vibes of Zyuohger.
But no, you're missing the whole thing. It brings a whole new outlook on the Sentai franchise.
So the last
negative
50
one.
years made nothing? There was nothing there?
Yeah, and to top this off, Bandai has relegated Kyuranger to their C-tier toy line, which, if you actually look at the toys that are out now, they're small as hell compared to what Kamen Rider's producing now.
And Kamen Rider and Sentai have always put a lot of effort into their toys. And now they're just going to be very disappointing. They're not going to connect with whatever gimmick they do, and they already have a very challenging gimmick. So I'm hoping now that we've finished our current Tokusatsu series that maybe we'll have a more positive outlook. So I'm going to stay positive, but at the same time, I'm going to be realistic.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to wait until it's aired for like 2 or 3 episodes, and then I'll watch.
We've also got the
For what,
fact that...
Kyuranger? No, we need to do a reaction. If we're going to watch it, we need to do a reaction video right after the first episode next week.
Well, I guess everyone, you just heard it. Kaiji Okami, the Taskmaster, is telling us we're going to be doing reaction videos. So enjoy
Yeah, and...
while we cry.
Yeah. I guess my little hope is, I'm like...
Wait a minute, you're the one who said we're watching the show. I didn't have any interest, but you're like, nope, we got to watch it.
Yeah.
Do at least do a reaction video. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And now you're like, oh yeah, I guess we're doing a reaction video.
This is what you call marriage.
Yeah. But my thing is, it's like, they're promoting the Pink Ranger as a team leader. Last time you had a female team leader was Time Ranger. I don't think they can pull it off nowadays with the way the writing is.
No, they won't be able to pull it off correctly. No, because even though Shikinger had a female red, she came in so late in the series,
I wouldn't
so
consider
I
her
don't
the team
consider
leader.
the team leader.
No, it's not that. I'm trying to... are you sure?
That has to be the last time, because I don't remember any
Yeah,
more
Time Pink was the last time I can remember.
red female leaders.
Yeah. Tsuruhime and Time Pink are the most recent, only 2 I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, for Kaku in Time.
No. There was... No.
Oh wait, Geki Ranger.
Geki
Oh, yeah,
Ranger,
you're
because
right.
Geki Yellow was told
leader.
she is the leader. I'm like, wait a minute, I know there's something.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that.
for Ron.
Yeah, she was told that she would be the leader of the team.
Which, at times, didn't feel like it.
Well, I think they did that on purpose, just because she was still learning how she was handling everything. But, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little scared at the same time because we've already named our worst, and our worst include many of the recent series that have aired.
Yeah.
So how does that make one feel when, outside of Tokuger, I think we've named the last 5...
Because none of us watched Toku.
Tokusatsu
Well,
series.
yeah, because we did Ninninger, you did Zyuohger, we did Kyuranger,
Mm-hmm.
you did Lupinranger, and we did Ryusoulger.
Yes, so the last 5 series are on our top 5 for the worst Tokusatsu series of the last decade. What hope do we have?
Yeah. I mean, even the new Garo series has potential, even with Amamiya gone.
And people wonder why I'm pessimistic on Sentai Online right now.
So with that lovely, encouraging thought, hopefully you've enjoyed our podcast, and we will share more stuff soon. Bye.
Bye.
Can I go now?
Yes. Leave.
Oh, I know. Please go away. I'm going to start playing the Fate video game.
Go home. Go to your couch. Go back to your couch.